Hello boys and girls. Today in our story about Elisha, we learn how we should show kindness, how God rewards those who help others, and how God can bring good out of hard times. In 2 Kings chapter 4 verses 8 to 37, we read about a rich woman who lived with her husband in a village called Shunem. One day when Elisha was on his travels from town to town, he called at Shunem. The Shunammite woman called Elisha into her house for a meal, as she knew he was a holy man, so she wanted to show kindness to him. Every time Elisha called at Shunem, he would go to her house and have a meal and spend some time together. The Shunammite woman said to her husband, "Let's build a room on the roof for Elisha and put in it a bed, a table, a chair and a lamp, so that when he comes he can stay and rest there." After a while, Elisha arrived back at Shunem and was so amazed at the room the Shunammite woman had made for him. He sent Gehazi, his helper, to fetch her. Elisha says to her, "Thank you for your kindness. Is there anything I can ask the king to do for you?" She replied, "No," for she was content with all that she had. Elisha said to Gehazi, his helper, "This woman has went to so much trouble for me. There is bound to be something I can do to reward her kindness." Gehazi replied, "Well, her husband is old and she has no son." Elisha says, "That's it. Go and bring the Shunammite woman to me." When she arrived at the doorway, Elisha told her, "This time next year you will have a son." Sure enough, the next spring she gave birth to a baby boy, just as Elisha had said. She was so delighted. God had rewarded them for their kindness. When the boy had grown up, he went out to help his dad in the fields. He felt sick and says to his dad, "My head, my head." One of his dad's helpers carried him to his mother, where she held him on her knee until 12 noon, and then he died. She took him up and put him on the bed she had made for Elisha. She closed the door and rushed off on a donkey to find Elisha and Gehazi, who were at Mount Carmel. Gehazi came out to meet her to see how she was. She said all was well and rushed on to Elisha, where she dropped down at his feet. She was so upset that her son had died. Elisha told Gehazi to take his staff or his shepherd's stick and hurry to the boy. Do not stop along the way to chat. The Shunammite woman wouldn't leave Elisha until he came with her. Gehazi arrived first to the boy, but there was no life in him. He laid the staff on the boy's face, but nothing changed. Then Elisha arrived. He went in and he shut the door behind him. He went and lay on top of the boy, eye to eye, mouth to mouth, and hands to hands, and the boy started to feel warm again. Elisha got up and walked round the room, and then again stretched out on top of the boy. The boy let out a big sneeze, then another one, and then 5 more, 7 big sneezes. Then he opened his eyes. He was alive again. The Shunammite woman came and fell at Elisha's feet, praising God, then picked up her son and left. What an amazing story of how God rewards us for our kindness, and how our faith in God can bring good out of hard times. This reminds us of God's word to us in Romans 8 verse 28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose.